What up, YouTube? Welcome back. And welcome to part 2 of my Dr. Umar Johnson shade and color bias video. In this video, I'm going to be concentrating more so on Dr. Umar Johnson's shade and color bias toward lighter skinned black men. And just in case you haven't seen part 1, I'm going to play this video clip. If you've seen part 1, then you probably have seen this video clip already. But just in case if you haven't, I'm going to play this video clip for you again that kind of like shows Dr. Umar Johnson speaking about lighter skinned black men. And after I play the clip, I'm going to come back and speak more and explore more about Dr. Umar Johnson and what he had to say in the video. So, here we go.
Everyone that's had an issue with me so far that I can think of, all of them are of the light skin flavor. Every one of them can pass the brown paper bag test. I'm going to say it again. Every Negro I have went to war with in the conscious community can pass the brown paper bag test. I'm drawing a parallel between me and the Honorable Marcus Garvey, which is to say this. We are so used to leaders being light-skinned, and we are so used to our leaders looking like white Jesus that when they don't look like white Jesus, the people will follow them. The people followed Garvey more than any other leader you ever had. So the people don't have a problem following a dark-skinned leader. But Negroes who think they're special, Negroes who think they got a right to lead because they light-skinned, get jealous of dark-skinned leaders. I'm going to just be honest. Everybody I had a problem with was light-skinned. Every one of them. I ain't had no issue with no dark-skinned leaders. They all been light-skinned. Brown paper bag or lighter. Brown paper bag or lighter. Every one of them. Every one of them, brown paper bag or lighter. And I do believe, psychologically speaking, that they take issue with the fact that I am of the dark complexion and absolutely proud of it. Absolutely proud of it. I remember I went to war with one light-skinned dude. Every time you look in the mirror, you see a crack. Every time you look in the mirror, you see a crack. So you got to go extra hard because you're trying to prove to yourself that you're a black man. I ain't got that problem. I'm melanated. I'm melanated. When I look in the mirror, I see a black man. When you look in the mirror, you see a cracker. You got that Napoleon thing going on. You got that Napoleon. You see that date, August 21st. That's when I was born. 821. Bring it. Bring it, little dirty midget. And again, I don't have a problem with my light-skinned brothers. We one family, no issue. But I had one beef with the one light-skinned dude, and all the light-skinned people start saying, Dr. Umar, you don't like light-skinned, and da-da-da-da-da, and you called him an albino. Listen, that was just me throwing darts during a war. That was just me throwing darts during a war. I have family members who are extra, extra, extra light. I got nieces and nephews, extra, extra light with green eyes, hazel eyes. I never got into that. I have never got into no light skin, dark skin. And I'm going to be honest with you. I believe one of the reasons I get the love that I get. I believe one of the reasons I get the love that I get is because everybody knows that I do not practice dark skin supremacy or light skin supremacy. That is totally against Pan-Africanism. I do not practice light skin supremacy or dark skin supremacy. They are both counterproductive for where we need to be going. I am not a light skin supremacist. I am not a dark skin supremacist. I am a Pan-Africanist. At the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, we will accept every color, every complexion. Like I said, I'll marry a super yellow light-skinned woman with green eyes if that's what the ancestors send me. I ain't got no problem marrying a light-skinned woman. I don't care how how angry the dark-skinned sisters get. I ain't got no problem marrying a dark-skinned sister. I don't care how upset the light-skinned sisters get. African is African. The first color on our flag is red. The first color on our flag is red. The first color on our flag is red, and that represents the blood. It is the blood that makes you African. It is the red blood in your veins that makes you African. We come in every color. Some of Marcus Garvey's greatest fighters were super light-skinned. Some of the greatest Pan-Africanists who ever lived were super light-skinned. Look at Brother Malcolm. Look at Brother Malcolm, very light-skinned complected, but he was a Pan-Africanist and a hero of mine nonetheless. We are one people. We are one people of every color, and I will reject anybody who comes to the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy trying to introduce dark-skin supremacy or light-skin supremacy. We will not have it. It is the red blood that makes you black. It is the red blood that makes you black.
All right, so you guys saw the video. So, one, I find it a bit weird that he says like his only beefs or problems involve lighter skinned black men coming at him. Because while I do know about the whole General Sarasu and Seti situation, I know about that, but also like Tariq Nasheed had went at him too. Tariq Nasheed would be considered brown skinned, but maybe in Dr. Umar Johnson's mind, maybe Dr. Umar Johnson just thinks that he's the darkest of the dark and like anyone, any and everyone is lighter than him. Maybe, right? But yeah, I remember back when that happened, and Tariq Nasheed saying that he was going to tie Dr. Umar Johnson's beard in Bantu knots and slap his pitties around. I remember that. But apparently maybe Dr. Umar Johnson forgot that. Maybe he forgot about that, right? Also, I think him and Dr. Boyce Watkins kind of got into it too. Dr. Boyce Watkins is kind of like a brown skinned, kind of like a lighter brown skin. Maybe he thinks he's light skinned. Maybe. Lord Jamar, I didn't even know that they got into it. Some people may say Lord Jamar is lighter skinned. You know how folks have different ideas of what light skin and dark skin is, though. Also, Roland Martin, Sa Netter, Brother Polite, And just a bit of a sidebar. Tariq Nasheed, he did kind of like have this kind of like running gag where he would refer to a certain black male YouTuber who is dark skinned as quote unquote a crispy coon. Yeah, I remember that. And I feel like that situation, it happened to the right person. I'm not saying that the situation was right, but considering the history that that person has, I think that it happened to the right person. Now, I know there were some folks who wanted to cape for that person, even though that person doesn't really deserve to be caped for, especially by black women. And I find it even a bit more odd, a bit more strange that there was a black woman who low-key kind of caped for that man, who I'll refer to as TS. And this black woman refers to herself as the first dark-skinned activist. And she low-key was caping for him, saying, that wasn't right, that, Tariq was referring to him as a crispy coon, and she don't agree with that. And I understand, and I agree with that. But, this person, the world's first dark-skinned activist, went on to refer to a black female YouTuber who is the queen of the colorism conversation on YouTube as quote unquote crispy. You know, a YouTuber having a conversation with her threw that name out there to disparage the black female YouTuber who's the queen of the colorism conversation. And they partially why they used that name was because one, it kind of somewhat matches rhythmically with the name that she uses on YouTube, and also because she is darker skinned. And the dark skinned activist, the world's first dark skinned activist, she was rolling with that. So I know this is a bit of a big sidebar, but I feel like when it comes to these, like, if a darker skinned dude is experiencing colorism, folks seem to have more sympathy for some reason. While when the darker skinned woman is having colorism issues, even darker skinned women don't seem to be as sympathetic or empathetic. You know, in that situation, you know, if I didn't know by now, now I know. You know, it really just showed me what that YouTuber is kind of like really about, like what they really, how they really get down. You know, because it's fine if you want to insult someone. That's okay, fine. You feel like someone stole from you, that's fine. You know, and you mad about it, but why kind of like use that particular phrase to insult somebody? You know, there's like a lot of ways to insult somebody. Why take it to like the colorism route when y'all both dark skinned black women? You know? So I guess that would just be an example of internalized colorism. You can be the world's first dark skinned activist and still have internalized colorism issues. Just like JT and Asian Doll, right? But let's jump back on topic. All right. So Dr. Umar Johnson, he has had beefs with people black men who are darker skinned and black men who are lighter skinned, you know. But I do feel it a bit odd that he is just concentrating more so on the beefs he had with lighter skinned black men. And he did say black leaders, but I'm not sure if General Sarah Sutanseti would be considered a black leader per se. I just think he's talking about kind of like dudes in the pro-black sector, right, in the pro-black area, who are pro-black adjacent, right? And it's been rumored that Dr. Umar Johnson's father is light-skinned. And I did a little bit of Google schmoogling, and I saw a picture of his father. His father's kind of like maybe perhaps like a peanut butter color, kind of like that middle ground, you know, where it's like kind of like not quite light, not quite dark, you know, kind of like in the middle. You feel me? You know. But maybe Dr. Umar Johnson has had some issues with having a father who is a lighter in complexion, and maybe his father perhaps said some disparaging things about him or other darker skinned black folks. Perhaps. Maybe. Now I know somebody gonna come through and be like, let's blame his black mama. I bet you his black mama done did this to him. It was the black mama or the white man. Alright, don't put it on another black man, I'll tell you that. Black man is perfect. Alright. Black man don't make no mistakes. Black man can't be blamed for nothing. Black man a victim. A victim of angry black women, the system of white supremacy. The white man always trying to bring down the black man, and these black women want to join in and participate and skip to the loo with white men. See, they got together with the white man in the 60s to put the black man out the black house, out the black family. That's why black men ain't in the fathers and their children lives as fathers now. Because of you black women. Y'all want to be strong, black, and independent? Well, here you go, black woman. You a strong, black, independent woman. I thought you ain't need a man. I thought you only needed a wig and a weave and a makeup. Because you was a bald-headed scallywag that ain't got no hair in the back. Gelled up, weaved up. Yeah, your hair looked ducked up. So, yeah, somebody gonna come through and blame his black mama. He also said that, like, the lighter skinned black leaders are jealous of him because he black and he dark and he proud. All right, they jealous of him. They hating on him. The light skinned black men are hating and jealous of him, and all the light skinned black women want to get with him. That's it. All the light skinned dudes are haters, and all the light skinned women want to be with him. But yeah, I don't know where that came from, though. Maybe there's some things happening behind the scenes that we're just not privy to. Could be. But notice that the animosity is directed toward and at lighter skinned black men and not lighter skinned black women, right? Notice he made sure to kind of come through and kind of like smooth that over a little bit and make sure that the light skinned and even probably the biracial black women make sure that they know that, Big Daddy Umar Johnson don't got nothing against you and your pretty little light-skinned self. I see you with them green eyes and that curly hair, baby. Right? You want to make sure that they know that Dr. Umar Johnson is cool with them. All right? That, for Dr. Umar Johnson, the women with the light skin is the right skin. All right? And also, he was really specific about talking about having no problem marrying a lighter skinned black woman and kind of like very specific about that too, right? And he don't care if the sister's going to be hating, the darker skinned sister's going to be hating. And he did throw in that bit about the lighter skinned women hating on him if he was a darker skinned woman and not caring. That could be true. But also, I feel like he may have thrown that in there as like low-key damage control just in case folks may run with this and like, oh, Dr. Umar Johnson only likes the light-skinned women, But my thing is, why mention the beef that you had with light-skinned black men in the beginning of the video just to say a few minutes later in the same video that we are all one people and that all shades matter? Like, like it's no difference, it's no big deal. And he also said that like Marcus Garvey was like the leader that they followed, that black people followed the most. And I feel like perhaps maybe Martin Luther King Jr. was that leader. I could be wrong, I'm sure someone got some more information. If so, let me know in the comment section. But I feel like that may be more so Martin Luther King Jr. And he was of a darker skin tone, and he kind of had an affinity for lighter skin. He did get caught with a lot of white women, or a few white women at least, right? And look at the woman he was married to, right? Coretta Scott King, lighter skinned. Right? So I think some of these dudes, even the pro-black ones, do kind of, in some cases, use like light-skinned and mixed women as like consolation prizes in a way. Like they couldn't get the white woman because they know if they step out on the scene with the white woman and they on the pro-black tip, folks ain't gonna be going for that. Now, if she is lighter skinned or biracial, you can kind of debate that. You can kind of argue that. folks might be more open to that. And then, we get into that whole thing about, oh, we all black. We come in so many different shades and colors and varieties. We sure do. Blackness can be anything through and through. I'm black, you black, she black, we all black. If you bleed red, you black. If you got some hair on your head, you black. Right? If you got eyes in your head, you black. If you got a heart on your chest, you black too. We all black. We all came from Africa. All right. And all this just to have a bigger dating pool. It's just, this how, see, this is the reason why black folks can't get nowhere now. Because black men want to invite everyone into the black community and the black party and the cookout, right? Particularly the women, to the cookout. And, I do think that maybe Dr. Umar Johnson may kind of have, kind of on a low, have something against lighter skinned black men. Maybe, And, he did mention that during his beef with General Sarah Steady, he was just, throwing darts, And that may be true. That may be true. But I do feel like, as someone in the pro-black sector who should be aware of colorism and how it affects our community, probably shouldn't be so quick to throw out colorist slurs and insults, right? And also, if like General Sarah, if he were to have reciprocated under the law of an eye for an eye and whatnot, I think folks would have taken issues with that. Thankfully, he didn't have to go down that route. He was able to insult him based on other things, as well as Dr. Umar Johnson could have just insulted him based on other things if you just felt the need to insult. And he also mentioned that, General Sarah is fighting the cracker within him. And I feel like Dr. Umar Johnson may be low-key fighting the cracker within him, right? Let's not get it twisted. There are some darker-skinned folks out here, especially darker-skinned black men, who be fighting the cracker within them. Let's not get it twisted now. I think across the board, all folks got a little bit of quote-unquote cracker within them, in the sense of having like internalized anti-blackness, in the sense of that, at least, right? So, I think that's a bit across the board, right? But I don't understand the need for him to kind of like point out and call out lighter skinned black men who are hating on him, just to like a few minutes later say like, we're all one people and we all believe red and all shades matter, right? Like, where did that, come from? Where did all that come from? He felt a need to do that for some reason. He felt a need to highlight and to point out and to call out lighter skinned black men for some reason, right? Some reason. And I think maybe he just threw in that other stuff to kind of clean it up and make it, make it not seem as if he has something against lighter skinned black men for some reason. And I don't know where, he could, maybe this is all just coincidence. Maybe this is all just coincidence. All right. But personally, I do think that Dr. Umar Johnson may suffer from some sort of a shade and color bias of some sort, and perhaps may deal with some sort of variation of being color struck in a way, and it may perhaps have come from some childhood experiences, And, he did mention that he has different shades, like a lot of lighter skinned people in his family as well. Perhaps maybe it came from that. I don't know, you know. Also, one more thing that I really do need to mention, and it totally slipped my mind. Dr. Umar Johnson, I believe he refers to himself, one of his titles, as like, quote unquote, King Kong consciousness. You know, so in a way, perhaps maybe seeing himself as King Kong in a way, right? And maybe folks may say, well, maybe it's just in the sense of him being like a big deal and being, large and in charge or whatever, you know. On the other hand, maybe he might see himself reflected in King Kong in some way because maybe at some point in his life some people may have referred to him as being like a gorilla or something. Maybe. And maybe he just decided to embrace that and just say, hey, he is King Kong consciousness. Right? But that could be some internalized colorism or some colorism that he internalized perhaps. You know. You know? But then again, maybe some people may feel like, calling black people, especially darker skinned black people, like gorillas or whatever, isn't really like considered colorist or offensive or like racially or offensive or anything like that. It's just, it's just an insult. It doesn't really have anything to do with like shade and color and features, hair texture and things like that. Maybe, you know. But y'all remember that, it's a bit off topic, but y'all remember that video clip of like those two news anchors or television show hosts, like one was a white woman, one was a black man, and like in one segment they show a video of like a monkey or a chimp or a baby gorilla or something like that. And then the white woman has said, haha, he looks just like you. And then the black man, he was like, yeah, he ended up agreeing with it. Y'all remember that video clip? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that's happening, right? So I do think that it's not completely out of left field and off base to say that some black men, especially some darker skinned black men, do end up internalizing some of these like disparaging pejoratives. Pejoratives, I guess it implies that it's disparaging. But and they end up internalizing some of this, and I don't think those are the only two who feel that way. I'm sure we got some receipts out here. I'm sure we do. Hopefully, Dr. Umar Johnson can come to terms with his own issues when it comes to colorism and being color struck, perhaps. But I thank you very much for watching this video. Please let me know what you think about all this in the comments section. And to the next video, adios and goodbye for now.